But there was one performance this year that stunned me. It sank its hooks in my heart. Not because it was good. There was nothing good about it. It was that moment when the person asking to sit in the most respected seat in our country imitated a disabled reporter. It kind of broke my heart when I saw it, and I still can't get it out of my head because it wasn't in a movie. It was real life. Disrespect invites disrespect. Violence incites violence. When the powerful use their position to bully others, we all lose.
Imagine being so powerful that when someone criticizes your bad behavior, your first instinct is to call them overrated, despite them being possibly the most universally acclaimed person in their entire industry. That's exactly what happened when Meryl Streep decided enough was enough. When Streep stood up against Trump's mockery of a disabled reporter, she wasn't just starting a celebrity feud, she was asking America, is this really what we want our leaders to model?
I am the most overrated and It's embarrassing and it's terrifying to put the target on your forehead, and it sets you up for all sorts of attacks and armies of brown shirts and bots and worse. And currently, I am the most berated actress who likes football of my generation.
The internet's response showed she struck a nerve that Trump's angry tweets couldn't repair. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. And ever wonder what happens when America's most respected actress decides to call out the soon-to-be president? Spoiler alert, he loses his mind. When Meryl Streep took the stage at the 2017 Golden Globe Awards, nobody expected her acceptance speech to become the political earthquake that shook Donald Trump right out of his fancy gold-plated bed. The Hollywood legend didn't come to play that night. While accepting her Lifetime Achievement Award, Streep delivered what can only be described as a presidential-sized smackdown.
And this instinct to humiliate, when it's modeled by someone in the public platform, by someone powerful, it filters down into everybody's life. But it was effective and it did its job. It made its intended audience laugh and show their teeth. We need the principled press to hold power to account, to call them on the carpet for every outrage. So I only ask the famously well-heeled Hollywood foreign press and all of us in our community to join me in supporting the Committee to Protect Journalists.
The genius part? She never even mentioned Trump's name, not once. But everyone in that room and watching at home knew exactly who she was talking about when she referenced someone in a position of power imitating a disabled reporter. Meryl didn't need to wear a costume or recite someone else's lines for this performance. This was the real Streep, using her moment in the spotlight not to boost her own ego, but to defend basic human decency. That's what made her words sting so much for thin-skinned Trump. She wasn't playing a part. She was speaking her truth directly to millions. Trump's reaction was about as predictable as his spray tan routine. Within hours, the president-elect was rage-typing on Twitter, calling Streep one of the most overrated actresses in Hollywood. The irony? Just a few years earlier, he had named her as one of his favorite actresses, calling her excellent in an interview. But apparently, criticizing the great orange leader is the fastest way to go from excellent to overrated in Trump's tiny book of opinions.
If his catastrophic instinct to retaliate doesn't lead us to nuclear winter, we will have much to thank this president for. The only way you can do it is to feel you have to. You have to. You don't have an option. You have to. Stand up, speak up, act up. His whisperers will have alerted us to the potential flaws in our balance of power in government.
The best part of this celebrity showdown came at 3 a.m., when Trump unleashed a Twitter tantrum that probably woke up his entire security detail. In his early morning meltdown, he insisted he never mocked anyone and, get this, tried to brag that he had more awards than one of the most decorated actresses in Hollywood history. That's like me saying I'm a better basketball player than LeBron James because I once won a participation trophy in middle school. The internet wasn't having any of Trump's alternative facts. Within hours, social media exploded with side-by-side comparisons of Trump's denial versus actual video footage showing him clearly mocking reporter Serge Kovaleski, who has a condition that affects his joint movements. The receipts were right there for everyone to see, making Trump's denials look even more pathetic than his comb-over in a strong wind. What really had Trump's tighty-whities in a twist was that he couldn't use his usual playbook against Streep. Calling someone with 21 Oscar nominations overrated is like calling water too wet or pizza too delicious. It just makes you look stupid. Trump might as well have said gravity was overrated while floating away into space.
How easily all of this can be ignored, and how the authority of the executive in the hands of a self-dealer can be wielded against the people, and how quaint notions of custom, honor, and duty compelled them to adhere to certain practices of transparency and responsibility. Punish and humiliate, delegitimize the press and all the imagined enemies with spasmodic regularity and easily provoked predictability.
Streep's takedown was especially effective because she kept it focused on Trump's actions rather than diving into partisan politics. She didn't rant about policy or legislation, she simply held up a mirror to his behavior. And buddy, he did not like what he saw. By focusing specifically on the incident with the reporter, she forced Trump to defend something that was indefensible, backed up by video evidence that contradicted his every denial. The whole embarrassing episode revealed Trump's Achilles heel. He simply cannot handle criticism from people whose status he secretly respects. For all his tough talk and "you're fired" bravado, Trump desperately craves approval from the elite circles he pretends to despise. And nothing triggers his insecurity more than being called out by someone who actually earned their fame and respect through talent rather than inheritance and reality TV. What makes this Hollywood White House feud so fascinating is the power dynamic. Streep used her platform not to promote herself, but to defend someone who couldn't defend himself. Meanwhile, Trump used the most powerful position in the world to attack an actress for daring to criticize him. One person punched up at power, the other punched down at a critic. The contrast couldn't be clearer if it were written in a screenplay. What Meryl Streep did that day wasn't just another celebrity moment. It was a masterclass in speaking truth to power. Disrespect invites disrespect. Violence incites violence. When the powerful use their position to bully others, we all lose, she declared, giving voice to what many feared saying publicly. The aftermath proved her impact as her Hollywood colleagues found their own courage to speak out against bullying behavior. While Trump tried hiding behind his Twitter account, Streep demonstrated that real influence isn't about having the biggest title or the most followers. It's about standing up for what's right. The orange turd couldn't handle someone with actual talent calling him out. In this bizarre reality show of Hollywood versus politics, Streep showed that sometimes all it takes is one brave voice to change the entire conversation. And man, did it make Donnie Diapers mad.